The wife took sleeping pills after an argument with her husband. The child did not know that her mother had died and was playing freely and cooking on her own. The water in the sink had overflowed onto the floor, and there was a plug next to it. She was unaware of the danger in the house. In the morning, the little girl, Pihu, woke up from her sleep to find her mother still asleep. She wanted to go out to play, but wasn't tall enough. She saw a newspaper in the doorway and immediately brought it to her mom, but there was the sound of running water behind her. Pihu moves the stool, but still can't reach it. After playing for a while, she gives up. What she doesn't realize is that there is a power plug under the sink. She takes the newspaper upstairs to wake up her mom, but she still isn't awake. Pihu finds out her mom's favorite program and tries to wake up her sleeping mom, but she doesn't move a muscle. She wonders why mom is ignoring her today and cries in fear. She pushes her mom's medicine bottle so hard that the sleeping pills spill all over the floor. Pihu curiously asks her mom if she can take these white things like sweets. Suddenly, the ringtone rings and the mobile phone is placed on the bookcase. Pihu stands on a chair and struggles to get the phone into his hands, connects it, and accidentally drops it under the bookcase. The sound of dad complaining and hurling abuses at mom comes out of the phone. Yesterday was his daughter's birthday party, and as he was busy with work and couldn't come home for the party, an argument broke out. Pihu struggles to reach for the phone, but his arms are too short to reach it. Dad was about to take a flight on a business trip when he called back because he had forgotten to unplug the iron in his haste to leave the house in the morning, and when he realized there was no response, he thought his wife was still angry. After hearing his daughter's voice, he simply consoled her and hung up. Pihu went to the dressing table and started playing makeup games. On the mirror, there were her mother's last words, which said that her husband and wife were not in good terms, and that her husband had cheated on her in a domestic violence situation, which led her to a desperate situation. However, Pihu doesn't understand the meaning of these words. She just thinks that her mom is still sleeping. The smoking iron caught Pihu's attention, and her curiosity led her to reach out and touch it, only to be scalded to tears. She climbs on top of her mom for comfort and cries herself to sleep. Pihu woke up hungry. Her mom had committed suicide, and she didn't know it. She flips pancakes in the kitchen and puts them in the microwave like a little adult. The crust turned out to be battered, and she lit the gas burner again and threw the pancake right on top of it, and the pancake quickly scorched. It was a bit different from her usual food, and Pihu tried to blow out the flame with her mouth, only to fail to turn off the fire before she shifted her goalposts. Opening the fridge, she finds the rest of yesterday's cake and fills her stomach before playing hide and seek again. But soon Pihu starts to struggle. The darkness and coldness is definitely not pleasant. The rickety fridge sends a cold sweat down your spine as the door is finally kicked in and the jam jar breaks. Pihu eats the jam and spits it out, not forgetting to take it to mom. But mom still doesn't wake up. By now, the water downstairs has overflowed the sink and is running like the ground. The phone rings again, and Pihu takes it out with a ruler. Dad has got on the plane and wants to double check that the iron is off. Pihu only said that mom was still sleeping. Seeing that his wife hasn't responded yet, he can only apologize for not making it to his daughter's party yesterday. The call was then rushed off by the flight attendant. Pihu is not finished and picks up the toy phone to play with it. But the phone cord got tangled in the leg of the ironing table, and as she ran, the iron fell over. A foul-smelling white smoke billows out. Pihu, oblivious to the danger, is engrossed in watching the TV, which suddenly cuts out while he is in the middle of it. Pihu mimicked her father and went round to the back to check out the TV and press the switch, but the TV remained black, and Pihu, tired of playing, fell asleep on the floor. When she woke up, the gas cooker was on and the water was flowing, touching the wires and causing an explosion. Pihu was so scared that she cried out. The iron was still smoking in the bedroom, and her mom hadn't woken up yet. Pihu was attracted by the sound downstairs and ran to the balcony and shouted to her friends to show them her favorite doll, but the doll accidentally fell down the stairs. Pihu climbs higher and higher on the fence, then shouts louder and louder for his mates to help retrieve the doll. Leaning on the top of the fence, his small body is facing death with every movement. Luckily, a neighbor from the next building was able to talk Pihu down in time, and the phone suddenly rang with a call from her father. Now that he is away on a business trip, Pihu tells him that her mom is still sleeping. Dad still doesn't realize that his wife is dead and hangs up in a hurry for a meeting. By now the phone has run out of battery power, but the child doesn't care and turns on a game and starts playing. Pihu is thirsty and finds a bottle of detergent, a white liquid that looks like milk. She walks up to her mother with the bottle and asks her if she can drink it herself, but she doesn't respond. Pihu tries to pour the liquid into the bottle, but doesn't hold it steady, causing it all to spill on the floor. She then had to go downstairs in search of food. The downstairs had become heavily waterlogged, and she found some random food to fill her stomach. The neighbors at the door called the property, but the property could not access the room either. Dad called again and asked what mom was doing. Pihu just repeated that mom was sleeping. Dad sensed that something was wrong and immediately turned around and rushed to the airport, fearing that his daughter had an accident. Along the way, he kept telling stories to Pihu, hoping that she would not hang up. However, just then, the phone malfunctioned, causing the call to hang up. After putting down the phone, the white tablets caught Pihu's attention. She asked her mom again if she could take these tablets, but there was no response. Thinking that her mother had acquiesced, she popped pill after pill into her mouth, totaling 4. After taking the tablets, Pihu started playing with her nail polish. Soon the sleeping pills began to take effect, and her sleepiness grew, her eyelids getting heavier and heavier. The loud ringtone rang again, but this time, she didn't have the strength to answer the phone. As night fell and smoke filled the room, Pihu's father finally arrived at the scene. He rushes upstairs and upon seeing his dead wife on the bed, he rushes to call out his daughter's name. Pihu's voice comes from under the bed as she is building a house with blocks. She tells Dad that she has built a beautiful home and hopes he will wake up Mom. Papa lets out a scream in the darkness and sobs uncontrollably. Some say Pihu is alive, others think it's just Dad's hallucination. The film ends here. The film Pihu is an Indian film starring a girl. The plot of this film is based on a true story about a young girl, Pihu, who spends a day on her own after her mother commits suicide. The film shows with extreme simplicity the helplessness and loneliness of a young girl facing a major blow in her life and her deep attachment to her mother. Although the death of her mother is not directly shown in the film, the audience can deeply feel the pain of this loss through the portrayal of Pihu's daily life and her interactions with her mother. That's it for today's story. Remember to like and follow me if you like it.